Welcome back to Algebra 1, Chapter 10, Section 8 in this book. And what we've been learning about is factoring, and what we're going to learn today, I've already taught you, because they already were showing you example problems earlier, so that's one weird thing about this book. They will have you do problems where they haven't taught you it yet. So always watch these videos and I'll teach you how to do it. So this is what it is. It's what I call pulling something out. But the fancy real math word for it is factoring with the distributive property. So here is our example. We have 9x squared minus 15. But 3 goes into both 9 and 15. So we pull it out. We put it on the outside of the parentheses. See how it looks kind of like distributive property? And then we go, what times 3 is 9? Well, 3 times 3 is 9. And what times 3 is 15? 5 times 3 is 15, or negative 5 since it's negative 15. So the book makes the point that you should find the greatest common factor, because like say that what you're supposed to pull out is 4. You can pull 2 out, but you just won't get everything out and you won't be doing the problem right. You'll have to do it again because it's still divisible by 2. So try to think what's the biggest number that goes into both of these. Okay, so here's another one. We have 14x to the 4th minus 21x squared. And the biggest number that goes into both 14 and 21 is 7. So that's what I'm going to pull out. But notice that both of these terms have x's. So I go to the one that has the least x's, this one, and I put that number of x's on the outside too. I'm going to pull those x's out also. I do my parentheses. And then I think, okay, what do I multiply by 7 to get 14? I multiply by 2. And then I pulled out 2 x's. How many do I have left? I have 2. And now, what do I multiply times 7 to get negative 21? I multiply it by negative 3. And I pulled both of those x's out. So I pulled it out. Okay, here's another one. And I'll write this one on here. Okay, so what goes into both of these? 2 does. They don't have the same number of x's, so they don't both have x's, so no x's. Okay, so the x's got left behind. And then what do you multiply by 2 to get 8? You multiply 4. Ta-da! It's not hard, is it? I kind of think it's fun. And you will do these in college algebra. They like these, so you got to remember this one. And they like it on the SAT and the ACT. All right, how about that? What can we pull out? Well, we can pull out a 2. And then we have left x squared minus 4. Now, you might think you're done, but you're not. Because x squared minus 4 can be factored. It's the difference between 2 squareds. So now we got to do it again, because we can have this as that. Remember, you did not see me do that. I erased it from your memory. Whoop, now it's right. That if you have the difference between 2 squareds, then you can factor it again. You can put x on both of them. What do you multiply together to get negative 4? It's 2 and negative 2. And then the 2x and the minus 2x cancel each other out. So this is the answer. Ta-da! Okay, let's look at this one. This one had a 4 we could pull out. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. And the smallest number of x's we have is 1, so we put 1 on the outside. But this, we can factor more. So we're going to put our 4x again and do our parentheses and our x's. What can we multiply together to get 6, but added or subtracted is 5? Why, that's 2 and 3. These are all pluses, so those are pluses, and that's the answer. So sometimes you have to factor more. Yay! Okay, here's one. 45x to the 4th minus 20x squared. So 5 goes into both of those. I pull it out. The fewest number of x's is x squared. I pull that out. And 5 times 9 is 45. I had 2 x's left over that didn't get pulled out. 5 times 4 is 20. But this can factor more. Yay! So this is the difference between 2 squareds. So I could put 3x plus and minus 2, and that's the answer. Ta-da! Okay? Now, Example 5 and 6 in your book is a thing called factoring by grouping. I want you to skip it. You will learn this in Algebra 2, and I really believe you're not ready for it till Algebra 2. My Algebra 2 kids who have done this and then have a year of geometry and then are finally doing Algebra 2, they have a hard time getting this idea. And sometimes they just have to trust me because they really have a hard time. So I want you to just skip it. Don't even read it. I forbid you to look at it. We're just saying no. All right, on to this one. This one I don't forbid, and this one I want you to look at. So here we have 8x cubed minus 18x. We can pull out a 2 and an x, and we're left with 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 9 is 18. And but then we can factor more because these are the differences between two squareds. So it's 2x plus 3, 2x minus 3. Now, how do you turn this factors into solutions? Well, remember we can set them equal to 0 with the 0 product rule, and we solve for x. Why is x not alone? It's being multiplied by 2, so I divide by 2, so x is 0, and then I can say it's got a plus 3, so I do minus 3, 2x equals negative 3, divide by 2, divide by 2, x equals negative 3 halves, plus 3, 2x equals 3, divided by 2, divided by 2, x equals 3 halves. So that means that this line crosses the x-axis in 3 places. And you see how this is x to the third? That actually tells you how many places, how many answers there'll be a lot of times. So you'll learn more about that in Algebra 2, and we'll talk about imaginary numbers and stuff like that. But just know that it gave us a clue with that 3 right there. Okay, and so it's going to look like this. It's going to be a line that goes up, it goes through negative 3 halves, it goes down, it goes through 0, it goes back up again at 3 halves, and our 3 answers are where it crosses the line. Which means you can do this on your calculator and get the answers. You can put this into your calculator, you don't have to pull anything out. Make that what y equals, graph it, and you can find the 3 places it crosses, and that will give you the clue to your 3 factors. You can get your 3 factors backwards, working backwards, from your 3 answers that you can get from your calculator. And I'll show you more about that in calculator labs. Just make sure you watch those calculator labs and you practice with your calculator and you get good at it, all right? So that's chapter 10. We're done with that. Come back for 11 and 12. Math is great.